Hey there, Internet. Felix Finch here, and welcome again to Underground Lucha Things, the Lucha Underground Retrospective, where somebody who fancies himself a wrestling historian, watches Lucha Underground for the first time because I did not watch it when it happened. No, I am watching this retroactively, and this is episode 23, Fire in the Cosmos. But you know what? I can't do this alone. So joining me is my friend coming in from the Isle of Hawaii, the one, the only, Angie FN, the loose cannon of Midcard Mana. Angie, how you doing?
I am good. Thank you again for having me.
It's always wonderful to have you. I enjoy having you any chance I get. I will rephrase that at a later time, but we will keep that in.
It's fine.
Because we're talking about the April 15th, 2015 episode of Lucha Underground, Fire in the Cosmos, and we open this show. This is one of the weirdest we've had. Aerostar is doing his best Batman, just standing on the roof.
I loved that. It was so good. That was such a nice little, insight into the character, just staring up into the cosmos, if you will.
Yeah, and Dario comes up and joins him on the roof to stargaze, and he tells him that if he sees a shooting star, to make a wish, but to be careful what he wishes for because everything in the temple has a price, and that of course Drago is going to be doing everything he can to win this unique opportunity. But again, this scene just when I saw the opening shot.
Did you have a moment when you saw the opening shot and you're like, am I still watching Lucha Underground? Is this something else? Because I had that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. And I'm like, oh, nope, that's Aerostar. All right, this is still Lucha Underground.
Yeah, it was like, what the Batman is going on here? Holy,
so good.
Holy sparkly luchador Batman.
It was so good. And Dario getting to a scene outside of his office to the temple. Always good. Flexing them acting chops.
And he's walking in dress shoes on a slanted roof, so good job, brave man there. Because I don't know if you know, those things have no grip.
The man is fearless.
Again, that was just. It was such a bizarre, unique opening for Lucha Underground that I loved it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I was about it, 100%.
Yeah, if you're gonna take me out of the show for a moment, yeah, do it with something like that, please. But you know what? We go into our first match, which is King Cuerno, Texano, and Cage versus Prince Puma, Hernandez, and Johnny Mundo. And with Hernandez there, they do have a powerhouse to go up against the heels, and that's on full display as Hernandez battles King Cuerno. There's a great bit where Mundo makes Texano flinch before delivering a spin kick on the 10 count. They cut to who looks like Sean Davari in the front row. They don't say who it is, but they do say that they have somebody that's interested. And it's a surprisingly straightforward tag match overall to start, and I'm shocked to see how much air Hernandez can get, taking out Cage and Texano on the outside before Puma and Mundo hit stereo dives. There's also a very good lucha team-up by the Full Trios team against Cage, who manages to kick out and lead into an even more chaotic sequence on the outside that leaves Puma and Cuerno lying in the middle of the ring. King Cuerno is able to get the pin on Prince Puma with the throw of the hunt after Texano knocks out both Johnny Mundo and Puma with the bull rope. And I think this might technically make Cuerno the number one contender again.
And he got the pin. That's usually how it works. But yeah, interesting to me that Cuerno was the one that got the pin on Puma to lose for Puma's team to lose this match. Because then that sort of leads you to believe, is Puma the weak link of his group? Is he only champion because of the kindness of the other two people that he's working with? You know, we've seen him receive help time and time again from both Mundo and now more recently Hernandez as part of the sort of group they've got going on with Conan. So maybe sowing some seeds of doubt in the Lucha Underground champion and in other people in the Lucha Underground champion.
Yeah, and an interesting thing, because apparently this tournament was just these 3 trios matches to have 3 trios teams to go for the final. So our final is set, and Dario comes out to address the team, says he wants a preview of next week's championship. So each qualified team will be represented by 1 member, and that match is going to be next. So in this match,
So they got to choose.
Yep, they've got to choose. And who they end up choosing is Cage, who takes on the Mack and Son of Havoc. So we've got a cruiserweight here, a traditional cruiserweight, a very agile heavyweight, and a powerful powerhouse. There's a great spot where Son of Havoc is thrown off of a pin, but he immediately transitions it into an armbar on Cage. I thought that was a very cool move, and I've literally never seen that. There's another great spot with Cage catching a tope suicida with no hesitation into a vertical suplex, and it's a prolonged battle. Cage ends up winning by hitting Weapon X on Son of Havoc. It was a fun little preview, one-on-one. Again, Willie Mack does get a bit of time to shine here. But the story of this match was 2 of us can't even take out Cage, so how is this going to happen when we have the match next week? Who knows?
What I liked the most about that match, I guess the couple of highlights for me, were getting to see Willie Mack. I had forgotten that Willie Mack was the Mack in Lucha Underground. Because I was too busy thinking about all of the other things that have been unfolding lately, with the reveal of the Trios tournament, with the reveal of more information on a couple other characters that you didn't know about yet. So I had totally forgot that this was where he comes in as part of Big Rick's crew. So that was a delight and a treat. And then also getting to watch Son of Havoc. I keep doing almost every episode. I keep wanting to call him M-Dog, but getting to watch him really start to come into more of his own. For a lot of the time in early episodes of Lucha Underground, you sort of see him as the, for lack of a better word, kind of simp boyfriend of Ivelisse. When Ivelisse really sort of treats him as such.
Did you call him a simp?
Very much like I did. I did, because that's kind of he was definitely very much emasculated in that relationship, and Ivelisse definitely being the one to be like, I gotta fight your battles for you, why can't you do this right, blah 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 blah, and getting to see him start to come into more of his own now that relationship is no longer ? And getting to sort of watch what he is capable of, because we've seen glimpses of it here and there in matches, but we never really got to see those really incredible moves or counters, like how you just talked about with the armbar before. So it really sort of, to me, proves his worth even more in his team.
It's a very interesting story going on with them, and guess we'll see that finals next week. But we teleport to the bathroom where Dario is speaking to Drago and reminiscing about their first meeting, which was also in that same restroom, locker room sort of thing. Again, you need to hire a better custodian, Dario. It is, and get an electrician. You've got to be able to afford some lighting.
It's so dark, yeah.
And it looks like he's trying to get the most fight possible out of the competitors. And again, we see that black slime tongue thing from Drago, which I want to know what the hell that thing is. But again,
That's just his tongue, man. That's just his tongue. That's who he is. He's Drago. He's a dragon. That's his tongue.
Yeah, we need to. But
I'm gonna say that till the day I
die. But yeah, that match is coming up next, or so we think. We cut to Pentagon in the ring with Melissa Santos, and he says he dedicates his next sacrifice to his master. And again, commentary's confused because there's no match set. He then attacks Melissa Santos, and even though we see Vampiro get up to go try to stop the madness, it's Sexy Star who runs in with a low dropkick and helps Melissa escape, telling Pentagon that he's gone too far and cussing him out in Spanish. So clearly there's going to be a challenge between these two in the near future.
As much as I would have loved Vampiro to make the save, I was happy then, and I'm happy now. I'm still equally happy about the fact that it was Sexy Star. As you know what kind of person I am. I'm very non-traditional as far as, a chick goes. So definitely seeing the person come to her rescue be another woman, that to me was just like, hell yeah, I don't need no dudes to save me. Yeah, that was my shit. So I am always pleased, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I've always liked Sexy Star. So that was a good moment.
Yeah, and again, it does help set up something for the future, or so it seems. I mean, that would be weird if it didn't, but we'll find out as we go along.
Yeah.
It is main event time as Drago takes on Aerostar. It's the final match of their best of 5 series, and Dario has taken over for Melissa since she's a bit shaken up and promises a unique opportunity for the winner. And like we said, he wants to get the most fight possible. So you know what? This is a match that finally has a stipulation. No countouts, no disqualifications, even though I think if you say no disqualifications, that automatically is no countouts, because a countout is a form of disqualification. But you know what? Let's not be... let's not split hairs there. This is, I think, the first time they show in Lucha Underground that Dario is clearly standing ringside watching what's going on. And there's some fun lucha action once again. A table is brought out by Drago, but Drago ends up being the one on the table as Aerostar manages to launch himself through the table off the ropes, hitting Drago. But again, it looks like another thing where I think he overshoots it just slightly and he eats a face full of mat there. At least that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Again,
thinking about that again.
These guys, they get great distance, great height, but you gotta control that just a little bit, because I feel like this is the third time we've seen something where somebody just eats mat, or like their face is way too far over and hits the ground before anything else.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to either of those guys, because you can tell that in this final, the 5th match in their best of 5 series, that they really kicked it up even more. These are two guys that have such incredible chemistry with one another. They are very much matching move for move as two very talented luchadors, and they took it even further in this match, I felt. In a way that, and I feel guilty for saying so, but in a way that I felt by the time it got to their 2nd or maybe 3rd match, it was starting to not drag, but it was sort of like, all right, well, we know this is your guys' thing. We know this is the kind of match to expect. So it wasn't as spectacular as it was initially, but I felt like, especially with the emotion that went into this, that was a lot more tangible. Like I could feel it a little bit better because of, this is it. This is the last one. There's no chance to recover after this, right? Whoever wins this wins the best of 5. That emotion really came through, I felt.
Yeah, and there's a really cool move we haven't seen yet where Drago hits like a flying. I think the way I wrote this down was flying blockbuster reverse DDT sort of thing. Because he looks like he's doing a flying blockbuster, but Aerostar takes so much of a bump he ends up like giving himself a reverse spike DDT. It looks great, and Drago is able to clinch his tail of the dragon pinning combination to get the win. Very cool finish to a fun series. Like again, like you said, in the middle it stagnated a little, but it finished strong, and that's all we can ask. And
yeah,
and Dario, and we end with Dario giving Drago a shot against Prince Puma for the Lucha Underground Championship. But there is a monkey's paw to this. If Drago does not win the Lucha Underground Championship, Drago will be banned from the temple forever. So, will we get Drago as Lucha Underground Champion? Will he succumb to Prince Puma's will? When will this match even take place? Find out more on future episodes of Lucha Underground. But Angie, you know what? Let me know what you thought of the show.
Any show that has more trios action, I'm all about. Any show also that has such a, to me, very powerful ending like that, I like. With that stipulation of Drago facing exile should he fail, that definitely adds to the tension, because it's not just that he'll lose, but if he loses, he's out. So it's like you said, it was a very good monkey's paw sort of deal, because I mean Aerostar is not at risk of the next match he fights. If he loses, he's out. That's not a stipulation for him. So it was definitely very much a like who really benefits in the long term here. Is it Drago, because then he has the promise of being champ, but if he fails, he's out? Or is it Aerostar, who flies a little bit more under the radar and might live to see a longer career in Lucha Underground?
Yeah, and like I said, overall, this was fun. I thought they did some very interesting things cinematically in this episode. That Batman opening was somehow one of the most hilarious things I've seen in this. Like, I know it wasn't meant to be hilarious, but that was hilarious to me because it just took me out in all the right ways. Again, Drago in that dingy bathroom as well. The Melissa attack was a pleasant surprise, and I guess sets up more things in the future. And I thought again, I also thought it was very interesting to have the champion not win the trios match, as well as have a challenge set by somebody else in a completely unrelated matter. Also, having
and interesting too.
Yeah, and having Dario out there watching Aerostar versus Drago was throwing me off a bit. I was kind of curious if he was going to get involved. He didn't though, and I like that we're kind of seeing almost the sadistic side of Cuerno, where everybody's just his plaything. Like that's it's about what he wants, and that's pretty much it. But you know what, Angie? Let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, so I am part of 2 different shows based out of Hawaii. We are slowing down a little bit as the times get a little bit crazy over here in Hawaii, but it is Midcard Mana, which is myself and my tag team partner Sam Kyola, the wrestling connoisseur, and we talk a little bit more about wrestling current events, different themes in wrestling, big events that just happened, or big changes in the wrestling world. And the second one is Valley Isle Collective's Ringside, where we talk a little bit more about the goofier things in wrestling, favorite entrance theme, favorite wrestlers in New Japan, and why we think that we could, if we wanted to join any division, why is New Japan's junior heavyweight division? For me, it's because of Hiromu Takahashi and just wanting to get pinned by him once. But that sort of thing.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find me here at youtube.com/FriscoFlame. And you know what? You can also find us on your favorite audio podcast app, Spotify, iTunes, Castbox. Just look up Underground Lucha Things. Go to my store. Get shirts like this beautiful beast here at FriscoFlame.com. You can also get my pins, which you see over here at my Etsy shop. Just look for Frisco Flame. You can see I like many pins. And yeah, guys, for Angie, for myself, peace out, party peoples. We will see you next time with more Underground Lucha Things.
Bang, bang.